somebody wanted to know, how do you curve text? So I grabbed a design from a font, and I added my name. I wrapped my name to this line, and I put it in here to make a monogram. So to get the font, it starts with a W, so I'll go to the W's. It's WM. It's one of these, this one right here. And you can, if you want, you can select your fonts by typing in a letter, or you can actually view them here by scrolling through them and picking the design from the font that you want. Well, I can't see my scroll wheel. There they are. Okay, so I selected this font right here. So to get it on my screen, I just double-click, and there it is. But I wanted it the other way, so I click on Mirror over here on the bottom left, and if I click it a second time to get the curve handles, I can kind of rotate it to an angle that I want it, and I want to flip it and kind of have it sitting there as much horizontally as I can. And I thought, well, that's nice, but I kind of like a swirl here. So to do that, I just clicked on Split to separate all the pieces. And I wanted to select this middle piece and hold Control and Shift and drag, so I have another copy of that. And so then I mirrored that and flipped it or rotated it to get kind of a longer handle that I could overlay here to give myself a better, longer tail. And I'll save a copy in case I need it. If I like that, then all I do is select it and join. Oops. Weld. So once I had that, then I just rotated it kind of the way I wanted it over here and resized. And then I did Control, Shift, and drag to make another one, and again flipped it and rotated it to provide the bottom size of it. Then I just had to decide on, well, what curve would I like? Now I could use this for the curve, but I found that if I use more of a flat curve,
huh?
What?
Mr. Coolidge?
I'll talk to him later.
She says she'll call you back.
Sorry. I found that if I have just a simple curve like this, that I get a much better separation of the letters than if I try to wrap it around a rugged kind of curve that has sharp lines. So what I used here, you can use any font you want. I'm going to select Storybook. So I type S and go to Storybook. And click on the T and type in my name or any name. I like to use caps, but you could use whatever you wanted. So I have this curve here, and I have the text. I'll move this other out of the way. It's a good idea to have your text about the same length as the curved line that you want to use. So I'm just going to drag the straight arrow until it's just a little shorter than the line. And again, I'm going to hold Control and drag the text over the line until the cursor changes shapes. Right there it has a square, circle, and triangle, and I release. And now I need to change the offset back to the beginning, and vertical alignment, I want it to be above the line or maybe centered on it. And I don't really need a repeat, and I could increase the spacing if I want the letters to go over the entire length of the line to give the effect of the curve that I want. That's a little bit too much space there, so you can always adjust some of the letters too afterwards. And if I take it up above the line, the vertical spacing, I get kind of a different effect there too. And if I don't quite like the way it fits, I can change the size. Got to hold the Control key down while you drag in order to get that special menu. So you can change the spacing. I don't know why the ends, actually I really like the whole thing closer. And then I'll move the end. I won't weld. And sometimes you need to adjust a letter or two depending on the curve that you're using. So that's putting a text on a curve. Any questions about that?
There's no questions on that. One of the things you can make, you know, I always advocate the 50% when you're doing a single line like that. And then to find out the exact length of that line, so if you undid and you wanted to find out how long you should make the Flanagan before you did it, you use the measurement tool, see how long that line is, and then that'll get you a lot closer than you know. So you wanted something like 4.3 inches.
Okay, 4.3.
Yeah, you're not too far off of that actually.
So I'm at 4.1, so we'll make it 4.3.
And then when you do the wrap, try to do it at the 50, you know, half on the line, half off the line. Yeah, vertical alignment at 50%. 50. You can use your arrow key, yeah. And then sometimes that gives you a better start.
Well, it's pretty good right there. I must have just hit it just right when I did this one because I didn't mess with it at all. It just popped up just perfectly. So, yeah, that's much better.
So, Julie.
So now my text is curved.
Yep, sorry. Sandra says, that's beautiful, Julie. Or Julie, that's beautiful. And I don't see any other questions on any of the things that you covered.
I can show you how to make a curved line.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and do that? That'll finish that off nicely. It's
just kind of, you can do it perfectly, but this is kind of not perfect. Okay, I click on this pen tool or Bezier draw, and I'm just left clicking here, and I'm going to kind of right click up to where I want it to be and where I want it to change directions, and left click and left click, and then right click where I want it to stop. Then I click on the second arrow up here, and I do have smooth paths on, I think. Smoothing, automatic smoothing. So I'm just going to push up on this line, and you notice it automatically changed that one. So I'm going to just push down a little here, not a lot, and it automatically smoothed this one, bent it a little. So you can adjust it where you want, but I thought that was pretty spiffy the way it just automatically made my curve for me. So when I go back to this arrow here, and click on this tool here. You see I have Auto Simplify Paths on.
Yeah, but if you just right click and
it just made this nice.
yeah, when you're now do a right click.
Right.
That's the auto smoothing that you're talking about.
Yeah, auto smoothing is on, and so it can make my messy control, it can make it much nicer. So you can just click if you wanted to. You could just do a left click, left click, left click, left click, left click, and a right click. And every time you did a click, you can just select your line and move that section where you want it to be. And you can make a big curve, or you can make a little curve. However you want it to go. So it's kind of fun to use that auto smooth if there's not something in particular that you're looking for. So that's all I had for today.